being Filipino in the US, do you think you were able to maintain your Filipino customs or language?
Yeah, definitely, because except for you, you don't speak Tagalog that much, but I know you're Filipino by heart. So I always keep, there's some customs that should not be practiced, so I don't practice them. And if I learn new customs within here, so I just follow that.
What customs, what Filipino customs don't you?
Like I miss the one that once you, I always teach my kids once they meet the older persons, they have to reach for their hand and put it to their forehead as a sign of respect. And you just the usual here, you just have to say good morning or good evening. But for us Filipinos, the custom is we reach for the hand of the older one and then put it on our forehead to gain respect.
Um, why do you think it was hard to maintain your customs here in the US?
Well, definitely because it's not really that hard because you have a big family here. So it's just although you're big, but you seldom see each other because everybody's busy. So um, pretty much we see almost every quarterly or maybe more than that. So the custom that we usually preserve when we were back home was kind of lessened because we seldom see each other that often.
In terms of, oh, this is just a new question, but in terms of holidays, is there anything different about it that you celebrate in the Philippines than when you celebrated it here?
Which one?
Oh, in terms of holidays, is there different customs in the way
Uh,
of celebrating it here in
like,
the US?
of course, the Christmas is something we miss so much because Christmas time there is really we value that one and we spend the longest Christmas on earth. And over here we're still working during Christmas time, so it's something that we really miss. And the same thing with Easter. I think most of the time I would remember the whole week we're off from work, so we have time with the families back home. But here, because each people have different religion, so we seldom notice that it was already Easter or Holy Week.
Did you remain in contact with anyone in the Philippines, and have you ever came back to visit?
Yes, I have friends. Still a lot of friends in contact now with the new things that we had technologies. It's easier to reach people back home, and I was able to be back after 13 years. I was able to get back twice already.
Um, did you notice a difference of personality between Filipino Americans and Filipino immigrants?
Well, definitely yes. Because the immigrants are just like the regular Americans here, and those new and and the Americans here are, I would say, they're more uh, upfront. Like if they want to say something, or they're so honest, unlike the normal Filipino. They would really go around before telling the what they want. Something like they can easily say it outright. So that's something I like among Americans, is because they want something, they tell you right away.
Which one do you think is easier to talk to?
What's
Or
that?
you're more comfortable talking to Filipino Americans or Filipino
Well,
immigrants?
in both, I think both, because there's something, the culture is something I still embrace. So there are times that uh, it sounds good if you would say it slowly than being so upfront. But in other ways, it could be good.
Um, do you feel as if Filipinos in the US are the same as they are in the Philippines?
Well,
Or,
totally not, because I would say I would meet a lot of Filipinos here who are more hardworking compared to when they were at home. So it depends. Maybe I'm just telling my opinion that most of the Filipinos that I met here are more hardworking than they were hard workers in the Philippines before.
would you say that's a good or bad thing?
Well, it will be a good thing because because at least it's improvement of what you're doing. So hopefully, this would be a wake-up call for everyone. It's not just work hard when you go out of your country, but even you're in your country, you have to work harder.
As you know, some college degrees are not credited here in the U.S. Do you think the degree in the Philippines is equivalent with a U.S. degree?
Well, I would say, like, I have doctors who are my friends, and the I I think each the units or the subjects should be credited because we are using the same books. So it's just a matter of thinking that I would hear from some friends that some people coming from the Philippines graduated from a certain broad what's the diploma. So, but I'm not like them. So I'm legit graduated Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, and it's legitimate. So I would say. Uh, I would say that it's just a matter of bringing what you could do when you work and leave what is not good back home.
Alright. Okay, looking back, would you have done anything different?
Well, maybe if I could come here a little earlier, because I was over 21 when my dad became a U.S. citizen, I would say I could be more successful. And maybe I'm not saying I might be successful, but maybe that's my destiny. Just came here a little later, but I'm not sorry for it because I was still able to to have a good family and life here in the U.S.
Would you go back to the Philippines and settle there if you had the chance?
Well, my wife and I, kids, I know they're all gonna be here, so I don't think settling there is something that we would plan in the future because I was able to love this country so much.
What do you think of the American dream? Do you think you're living it?
I guess so. It's because life in the Philippines and life here is totally different. And now that sometimes I could still help my mother-in-law, my relatives back home because I have some a little extra some money to provide them. So more or less, I would say it's really an American dream.
Do you think a lot of people achieve the American dream?
Yes, up to now, I don't know how what's the percentage of undocumented Filipinos living here in the U.S., but I guess up to now, even life is kind of difficult. There's still a lot of jobs around that you can find.
What are some of the good things about living in the Philippines?
Well, as I mentioned to you, we have holidays that we spend so much among our family members, and that's something I miss so much because back home you don't have to call your friend. You're gonna swing by, you just have to show up. Unlike here, you have to schedule every time you try to visit a family or even your brother and sister if they're free or not because everybody's busy here.
What are some of the bad things you'd say about living in the
Well,
Philippines?
bad things I would say it's because we don't really give preference much on our environment, so we do have a lot of floods going on from time to time. So although when I was young, I was really enjoying the day with the storm that comes in, but now I would see that a lot of people are suffering from if there's flood or calamity that comes around in my country.
Um, and oh, I guess that was the same question. I guess that's it.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
Thanks.